Welcome back to BLOCKTV, and this is Trader's Take, and we are joined as usual by BLOCKTV's technical analyst, Joe Sass. How are you, Joe?
Excellent, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, except for everything is in the red. Yesterday there was talks of a Bitcoin death cross, and it looks like we're dying, Joe. What's happening?
Well, I think some are dying on the inside a little bit. Anyone that bought in the 10K range, the 14K range, and pretty much anything above 9,400, I'd say people are starting to beat themselves up a little bit. But yeah, this is like a terrible territory to re-enter. I think there was. I've been talking about the bears being in control for a while, whether it's massive accumulators or just a general bear market, right? Whatever the case is. Either way, what we did have was a little bit of a fake out for the bulls when we bottomed at 7,700, almost flat. I mean, let's just call it a fair double bottom because we came within dollars of the previous one. So it's basically a 7,700 double bottom, a 7,750 fake out as a higher low, which really stimulated a lot of bulls into just going, all in on this, thinking that the bottom is in, that this was just a little, blip along the way to into the next all-time high, or obviously everyone thinks much higher. And I think all that money is now, washed out. Now it's like every time I see this happen, these big old, hopeful moves in price, I just think every single one of these people are going to become sellers in a very short period of time. And now we're in danger of them, even those people becoming sellers, people that bought at 8,800, 8,600, and so on. We're down into 8,100, and the technical picture is looking grim. So, why don't we jump in and take a look? Now, there's something crazy that happened yesterday, okay? Oh my God, fuck yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yep, I just went short before this. Yeah, I just went short before that happened. Oh, okay, that was great. This was a Coinbase anomaly right here. I saw something very shady, very interesting happen on Coinbase yesterday. And you can see there's this humongous wick on this candle. This only happened on Coinbase. And I saw it happen in the order books. There was an extreme pull in liquidity, and the only people left standing got all of their orders completely annihilated. And then it immediately wicked down. This was some sort of, I don't think it was a glitch. I think this was a very coordinated effort. And we could talk about that another time. But
we should talk about it now. I mean, you're always saying manipulation versus organic, and this is clearly not looking organic. Break down what you're seeing, what you're thinking.
So let's take a look at this over here. We have an order book, and I think I've kind of gone over this a little bit. This is liquidity in the book. Okay, so you have sellers in red and buyers in green, and those are all conditional orders. Now in Coinbase, we had this flash where all of a sudden all this liquidity was simultaneously pulled. I'm talking everything except a couple 50 packs. A 50 pack of Bitcoin, let's say here, a 50 pack there, and maybe a 20 pack or so in between. Something, it was small potatoes. But all of a sudden, like, we had a very robust sell side order book right now, like we did now. But then all of a sudden, all that liquidity just immediately was swept away. And it probably left only the people that I would consider sleepers, or people that, leave trades in the book and walk away from them. I just kind of generally refer to those people as sleepers. And all of a sudden, there's just a massive pull in liquidity over here, and then the price just shot up, and it wicked all the way from a low of around 81.72 to a high of 82.50. So there was something very nefarious going on. I don't believe, I don't naturally assume the best when it comes to crypto. I naturally assume the worst, because it's oftentimes that's the case. And thank goodness. Oh, look at that. This is some beautiful selling activity. We got some big chunks being taken out of support. Sellers are chasing the book over here. You can see that we're getting very dynamic movement on the sell side. I'm trying not to hover over this because it grays out. But right now, this is exactly the kind of conditions you're looking for in a breakdown. Very dynamic sell side movement, chasing the book. Buyers getting very scared. And as you can see, they're adding and they're subtracting orders from the book. It looks like there's a little bit of support at the 80-50 area, with the 90 pack holding strong. Down to 70 already. So it's definitely dynamic support as opposed to static support. You have big chunks being taken out of these support walls, and a couple buys, about a 4-pack buy, about a 10-pack sell, 5-pack sell, and this is just getting worse. There we go. Now a buyer jumped in, 20-pack bought, and price is still through 80.50. We're already shut. All right, we might break through 8,000 right now, and there it goes. It's gonna go. Oh man, If 8,000 flat is hit, it's going to trigger stops and we're going to break. Oh man, we hit it. We just missed it by a penny.
What are
That
we
was
trying?
crazy.
What do we want to see now going forward to move in a positive direction? What should people be looking for?
Well, to move in a positive direction, you're talking to a trader, which means make money. I mean, so if you're talking about, what about a bullish narrative that can really change the technical picture? I should probably close this short, by the way. Um, if you're talking about a technical type deal that, to really shift us from a bearish posture to a bullish posture, um, excuse me, we'll go over that. You know, honestly, the honest answer to that is a fight, and like a move back into a space above the 200-day moving average. So let me get back to screen share and talk about this for a sec, because we've been in bearish territory for quite some time now, especially since we broke down from the descending triangle. But the most important thing is that we keep fighting and losing this battle to the 200-day moving average. Now, this is a very strong resistance right now, and as you can see, it's trending up pretty quickly. So if we do continue to come up and pick at it, it's only going to be higher price targets, even to the point where we might even hit this bottom of the descending triangle. So I wouldn't expect us to fight that long. I kind of want Bitcoin to either win or lose. Like I said, like I say, I like when we just rip the Band-Aid off. And I think there's too many devout, Bitcoin buyers that are willing to buy at any price that won't let this thing crash, although it's doing what it's going to do anyways. So in order for a bullish gleam of hope to really, really grab people and shake them into, shake the price into something positive, we need money coming in from the outside. We need a technical picture that doesn't look so grim. I think we already wicked down below this, so I think we could easily move lower. But I think the technical picture needs to look a little bit better, and it's starting to. There's one thing, one little gleam of hope, which is a 9 buy potential on the weekly close, which would mean that we have at least a 1 to 4 candle bounce in play. But this is such a weird time. Again, I'm looking at this as a mini market cycle, comparing it to the 2017, 2018 bear market and bull market. So we have basically the same thing of vertical parabolic move to the upside, followed by a descending triangle breakdown. Ours did break down a bit sooner, fortunately. We didn't even really go sideways before breaking down like we did over here. Very boring period of time. Oh man, boring Bitcoin over there. That was a terrible time. Anyways, we break down violently, and we consolidated here, a little bit different than this breakdown. So I think that if I was to be a bull, I would say, yeah, you know what, this is no longer this is kind of broken this previous trend of breaking down in bear markets. We're sitting on the eve of a potential 9 buy on the weekly, which could really strongly indicate that this is a bottom. The technicals are lined up for at least a bounce, then that bounce can stimulate more bulls. But either way around, I really feel like as like I remember 2017, the craze, the FOMO was in the air. Everyone was talking about it. I mean, and this time around, it's like no one cares. Like 14K Bitcoin, it didn't. No one asked me any questions. Maybe 2 friends hit me up, and maybe 3 friends hit me up and asked me some questions. But there's such an isolated space again, and it's mostly traders trading, mostly hodlers hodling. And in order for this to really get bullish, into a new all-time high, through the halvening into a new all-time high, and then to 6-figure Bitcoin, we need some serious buyers, and that could be ETFs, that could be country hyperinflation. I mean, why isn't Hong Kong doing it? Why isn't Venezuela all in on Bitcoin? Why isn't Turkey? Why isn't Greece? Why, there's all these examples of countries with failing fiat systems that aren't jumping on the Bitcoin bandwagon here. So I don't really know what the catalyst will be, and at this point, I believe it's just going to have to be adoption from as many individuals as possible. I'm not going to bet on an institution like a financial institution with its roots deeply rooted in a financial architecture really getting involved in this until it's way too late for them. So I think it's going to be a people thing first, and then and then from there, whatever regulations pass that allow it to be accumulated by bigger money, I think that'll be the next step.
Absolutely, potentially. And we know this is a social space as a whole. So, I mean, what you're saying could potentially very much be on point. But that's also a time will tell type of situation. Unfortunately, we're not fortune tellers. And again, as you keep bringing back, it's an unpredictable space and stuff out there for traders, for analysts, anybody trying to kind of make sense of it seems to be having, you know, a hard time coming up with concrete, you know, conclusions with what's happening. But again, we always talk about this trickle-down effect that Bitcoin has. Something happens to Bitcoin. Again, we have nearly 70% dominance there. It trickles down. It goes into the altcoins. It looks like XRP took a hit as well. Can we go through that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would love to. Let's see. XRP should be right here. All right. You know, when you said it took a hit, I haven't looked at the chart for a little while, and I was hoping it was a much worse hit.
My condolences. I apologize.
Yeah. We're fighting. Man, this is a little weird. All right. So we popped our head back in. We were rejected by the top end of our very long-standing channel. We've had, you know, a couple times where we spent, you know, a few weeks maybe outside of this channel, this dotted green line, which then turns into this ray. And this ray on top here. So this channel is pretty much XRP's channel for a long time, and I probably don't need to tell you that anymore. You've probably heard it from me 1,000 times. But we popped out to the upside. We popped through to the downside. We glanced off of a very long-standing support line. This is just, it's kind of all over the place right now. We popped back in, we popped back out, created a new low. This is probably the lowest low in like a year. Probably. Let's see here. I mean, maybe even years, to be honest. That was the lowest low since December 2017, nearly 2 years. So we definitely, I would say making a lower low like this is very bearish in nature. Let me just do something like this. We definitely had some support along the way. Yeah, this just isn't pretty enough for me. I don't really like to use my imagination when I'm drawing things. So I do see, you know, that we were trending down. We were supported by this down-sloping trend line, bounced off it a few times, and now we've, you know, just bounced into an upward sloping trend, and it's just kind of taking these. I would say when it moves, it kind of takes big moves. This doesn't look like a very convincing re-entry into this particular channel. I would need to. It's going to take me a long time before I do believe a ton of altcoins are going to die, and I believe XRP is one of them. But I think it's not looking terrible, and it's not looking particularly amazing right now. I would say if I was trading XRP, what would I be looking for? Excuse me. I would be looking for how we respond to a bounce or a rejection or support from these moving averages. If we can break above these moving averages, which we seem to have failed to do for quite some time. Obviously, we broke above it over here. This is a pump, came right back beneath it, rejection, rejection, rejection. I mean, this is all moving averages, rejection off the 200, rejection off the 50, 200, 200. So it's taken a little bit of a step back, but I can't really, you know, as much as I hate this asset and everything it stands for, I can't really say it's looking that, it's very neutral right now. We're back in the channel, and typically when we get here, we spend some time here. So I got to say we're probably neutral right now, and in the medium term picture, we're probably bearish. If we fail to make a higher local high, then this is definitely going to get uglier, and we're probably headed back into this wick space, into the low 20-cent range to maybe create a lower low. But right now things aren't looking terrible, as much as I hate to say it.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry for you, but for any XRP holders, listen, you know, out of a Bitcoin maximalist's mouth, it's not looking terrible. But one that is, and again, you know, we love talking about Litecoin, and Litecoin is down at least 2.5%. Break it down for us.
Yeah, so let's see. So before, let me just take a quick look at Bitcoin's daily candle volume. I just want to see, you know, so we're down 1.3. I want to, oh shoot, this isn't Litecoin, this is dominance. Let's see, let me switch this over to LTC USD. And here we have it. All right, Litecoin USD. Let's see, I think this is weekly, yep. we're stalling out right here. Let me get these notes out of the way. So we did have a little bit of horizontal support there. That did kick us up. We didn't really create a full-on head and shoulders here. We broke down. This is a little funky to me. I would say that it's not good to break on a weekly chart to break below a 50 MA, which would really be a long-term moving average or like that's a very long-term moving average for a weekly chart. So let's get to the daily. We're stalling out. It looks like Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, Litecoin, is kind of dying, to be honest. A very slow and painful death. We're definitely fanning out. Fanning out is a concept where you have less and less acceleration to any sort of upside trend. So you can see that that angle right here is much more sharp to the upside. Not very sharp, mind you. I mean, it's not vertical. It's not, very dramatic in that sense, but it's just a bearish formation to me. And I think we're probably going to break through this support. I think lower numbers are on the table. And you know what? This actually brings up a very important idea and concept. How low can price go and affect, now that we are, the block reward subsidy is decreased in half, say we hit these lows again, right? $20, the low $20 range, which it very much looks like we can do. I don't know if Litecoin's going to die. I'm not as confident in a Litecoin death scenario. I had a great talk with Harry, who's also worked with us at BLOCKTV a couple times. He's our, he's worked with me for mining and, interviews on mining and such. And he basically updated a lot of my information on the fact that there are better mining units out there that produce, more hash per electricity cost. So like I think 50 watts per hash instead of 100 watts per hash. So I think as far as mining death spiral type scenario is concerned with Litecoin, I think it's very possible that Litecoin is going to survive this. And even if we hit these low numbers, I learned that, as long, like the chances are what's going to happen is people using outdated tech are probably like the tech that produces like, 1 hash per 100 megawatts or whatever. I can't remember the exact amount. But like essentially the people that are operating on old machinery are going to be the first ones to pull the plug because those old machines are no longer profitable. And so there might be an attack, in a way. There might be some sort of pullback in hash allocated to Litecoin. But even as price declines, there's still going to be miners that are profiting off of mining Litecoin. And so I think Litecoin's definitely headed down. It looks terrible to me. We're again on the eve of it seems to be one of your favorite terms these days, the death cross.
Listen, it sounds so monumental.
Yeah, let's see, we're a couple days into it. I don't think we took a look at this yesterday. So, I mean, everything else is days or a day away from it. Litecoin has now death crossed. And everyone likes to think that that altcoins or certain altcoins like Litecoin or ETH are predictors of the market. Now, I disagree with that for a few reasons, but I don't completely dismiss the idea. So if there is any indication of anything here, we have taken a 5%, 4% move to the downside, followed by 1.4. Post death cross, we didn't get like a little fake out pump, which is what I was telling you. Like crypto is nasty, traders are crazy. You could always, like, everyone would be betting on this to be bearish, right? This is like one of the most bearish signs in the book, and so we could easily have gotten some sort of flash into it, but it seems like every death cross has really been, kind of a neutral breakdown. We broke down before this one happened. We rode up, met the 50 MA and broke down. So I just think this is getting worse and worse every day. And I don't think that Litecoin's going to die, but I think we are looking at potentially lower lows. But it wouldn't surprise me if we double bottom at 20. It wouldn't surprise me if we go lower. Litecoin is looking very bad to me right now.
Okay, well, so final question before we sign off here. We were talking about Ethereum dying and we're talking about Litecoin dying. If they were both to go, which one do you think would go first?
Litecoin.
Litecoin would go first? Okay, well,
yeah,
you heard it.
Proof of work.
Well, you heard it here first, everybody. Thank you very much, Joe Sass, for breaking that down for us. For all you folks watching at BLOCKTV.com, keep on watching for more cryptocurrency and blockchain-related news.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.